Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you. Another video. All right, so I figured I'd bump my gum, see what comes out of it. Probably about 15-minute talk here on my way to where I'm headed. And yeah, man, I think Detroit is running into the same thing that I think the Rockets are running into, that I think Denver's running into. There's several teams that are starting to understand something right now. And the thing that they're understanding is what I've been telling these teams for a while now: stop trusting these washed up ass veteran role players. Stop trusting them to do anything at all. The shelf life on an NBA player is not what it used to be. And it wasn't that then either. It's just that now you have more young players coming in who are making it so that that level that they're playing at is unacceptable at this point. With evolution being as it is, when you're bringing in new crops of young players, flowing them in, 50 of them this year, 50 of them next year, maybe 10, 12 of them fall off, maybe even a little more than that. But you're continuing to see more and more players flushed in. It's only how many spots in the NBA? I ain't doing the math. 30 teams, 16 spots a team. It gets to a point where now you're starting to see more and more of what is the evolution of basketball coming in. And then the guys who are role players from yesteryear are not able to play at that level to begin with. And now with more mileage on their legs and injuries in their belt, they really can't keep up with these young new school guys who just have more variations and to their game, more to offer. Better players from man to man to man. And so what you find is a lot of these teams are trusting these old washed ass role players who weren't really that great to begin with, and they're paying them all this money to take up a certain amount of the cap, which means that they can't build teams that are comparable to all these teams that have rookie talented players on rookie contracts, ready to contribute sooner than expected in more prominent roles, lining up against these old wash dudes that they're cooking every night. It is what it is. You got too many of those guys on the Detroit Pistons playing too many prominent roles. And when you got Orlando, they got nothing but young guys. So you got Jamal Cain and these guys going up against Caris LeVert and Kevin Huerter. I don't even know if he's out there for Detroit. They traded for him halfway through the season. You know what I mean? It's just not. I look at the Rockets, Dodo and Jeff Green, Aaron Holiday. Them dudes, man. They're not going to be able to keep up. They shouldn't be playing prominent roles at this higher level when you got so many young players coming in with so much dynamic play. And when you start talking about the guys of the new school who are coming in as role players, they play at a higher level. A lot of the guys who are considered to be busts are still developing, but they were actually dynamic players. So you got Nick Smith out there going against Tyus Jones. Nick Smith gonna cook Tyus Jones' ass. And this is the type of dynamic that I think some of these teams are running into in the playoffs, where night in and night out, they're just banging old, washed-up players against young, high-level talent. Higher-level talent, man. Evolution is a real thing. Wear and tear is a real thing. And the NBA gonna learn to respect that. And stop giving these guys roles when they no longer have the ability to keep up with what's coming. Why is Jeff Green on an NBA roster? Why is Kyle Lowry on the NBA roster? They can't keep up, man. There's no way, dog. I'm sorry, and that's what I've been telling people for years. Years and years and years. These last couple of drafts and these next couple of drafts are going to wash away a lot of these guys, or you're going to turn away a lot of good young talent, send them down to the G League, making the G League better product than the NBA in some cases. Why are you still trying to keep these dudes around? Too many of them have prominent roles or are being relied upon when people get hurt. And the teams that have that going on are underachieving in the NBA. It just is what it is. They're underachieving, and this was foreseeable. This was discussed on my channel And it is what it is, man. Some of these dudes, hey, look, the old stars, if they can play at a high level, your Kevin Durant's, LeBron James's, they can stick around. As long as they're playing at a high enough level, they can be a part of something that really works. They can run with the young guys. They still stay in that type of shape. It can really work. A guy like Brook Lopez has found a way to keep his career going because he's stretch five, hardly misses, still can block shots. It works. If they can still go, they can still go. But a good portion of these people, man, y'all giving these big contracts for what they did yesteryear, and they can't help you. So what ends up happening is they don't get used, and your bench is shrunk, your team's stunk, and you're getting swept or getting beat by a team that you thought you were better than, but you actually can't compete. I'm just telling the truth. Some of these role players from yesteryear, when they was in their prime in 2010 and all that stupid stuff, those teams, they can't still roster these people no more, man. Shelf life for an NBA basketball player has shrunk some until expansion comes in and changes the game to give more opportunities to people. You're really making yourself worse by thinking that a guy who's 36 years old, who wasn't even a star when he was playing in his prime, is going to actually be able to play a legitimate role running up against 19-year-olds with super talent, super strength. It doesn't work, and the teams that are doing that, who are rostering those players, are getting beaten. That's what I'm saying. No country for old men, NBA. I've been telling y'all this for years. Now you're seeing it. I've been trying to prepare people for what's now in place. And that's what's wrong with the Detroit Pistons, man. That's exactly what's wrong with the Detroit Pistons. They got too many guys in prominent roles surrounding the core that can't help them. You look up and down that roster, you're like, damn, he has a role? No, man. He can't have a role. This guy too? Nah. And then you're sitting the wrong people, and that's another thing. They're sitting the wrong people. See, these coaches, in a lot of cases, have not caught up to this logic. They need to get bumped. They need to have their head smacked around by this reality before they actually react to it. They don't have any foresight in a lot of cases. I'm just going to run my guy. Your guy has not had anything to give over the last 2 seasons. Yeah, but I'm running my guy. I trust him. These young guys, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing because you're not doing your job and teaching them how to do it. You're not giving them the opportunities to show you that they're better than your guy. Well, my guy knows him, but you know how to be a professional. These guys don't know how to be professional. Then give them a coaching job, dog. There's no reason for him to be eating up a valuable roster spot. You may actually have to call on that person. Have I not been saying this for years now? That's what's happening in these playoffs, bro. They're all finally getting hit in the head by that. They're all getting burnt by that stove that I told them don't touch. That's what's happening. And so you watch them one by one, all these teams with these washed-ass players going one by one. Oh, down 3-1. Oh, down 0-3. Like, yeah, because Jeff Green ain't going to be able to help you no more, dog. Kyle Lowry can't help you no more, dog. It is what it is. These players are done. No more country folk, man. I keep telling y'all. If y'all ain't playing at a level like Steph, Bron, Kevin, you're going to have to move on, man, and let these young guys come in. You done made your money. It's time to go sit down next to Dirk and Blake Griffin and them, man. It's time, dog, for a lot of y'all. This ain't a forever career. You got only as long as you can compete. And these kids are shrinking y'all shelf life because they're coming in bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter. And it is what it is. So as to where when Mike was running around, you could let a guy hang around. Now, no. Now, if you're trying to win, no. And it's only going to get worse from here. It's only going to get worse from here. And this next draft got more pros in it than the last 2 drafts combined, if you ask me. I ain't kidding. More guys that I expect to stick in this league are coming into this draft right now than came in the last 2 drafts combined. Roster spots taken away, man. It just is what it is. So I tell y'all, manage your money, man. All these young guys right now, manage your money, because that's reality is going to come for you too. Don't think I'm just talking to this era of guys. I'm talking to you too. You're going to see this 10 years from now, 8 years from now. Y'all going to be washed. Loss comes fast. And if teams don't react to it, they're going to lose because of it. It is what it is, man. So that's what it is, cut and dry. That's exactly what's happening to Detroit Pistons. It's too many Caris LeVerts running around on that roster, dude. Too many. And they can't beat a team that don't have that problem. Orlando don't have that problem. And they built and constructed the same way to play the same style. That's the difference. Has Detroit been a better team all season? Yeah, but they didn't have to run into Orlando 82 times. That's the reality of a healthy Orlando at that. For which Orlando hasn't been all season. Now we see what the vision of Orlando is. Sometimes teams just get healthy at the right time and run into the right matchup. And I think that's what's going on with the Magic. They're getting healthy at the right time. Franz Wagner is around now. Anthony Black is back now. Desmond Bane has established himself on this team and comfortable in his uniform now. He wasn't at the start of the season. Paolo Banchero is still not playing well. Honestly, he doesn't look that great to me even now. But they were able to weather that storm because of the fact that the rest of their guys are playing better. Jamal Cain has had more opportunities to play more since those guys have been out. Now he's ripe and ready to go in the playoffs. So it's like these are the type of things that the Detroit Pistons are running into. A team that can meet you at the summit as it pertains to your physicality. They just as big as you, if not bigger. And that's a real thing. And Detroit is gone from bad to good overnight. Orlando has been a steady playoff team, not a very good one, but a steady playoff team for several years. So they understand one another. They have a certain level of continuity. Most of those guys, with the exception of Bane, who's coming in and fits in. But those guys kind of been together for a little while too. They got nothing to lose. They got more healthy, spry bodies, and they're ready to bang. With this Detroit team that is top heavy, yes. But some of the role players, they didn't dwindle the role playing talent on their roster. They got rid of Jaden Ivey and then benched Marcus Sasser. It's like, yo, you need to play Marcus Sasser. He needs all of Caris's minutes. All. You should have kept Ivey. I know he was, he had his off the court stuff that y'all can't get with and all that, whatever, but you need the speed. You need the speed and athleticism. That's what made you as capable as you were to start the season. You moved that piece and you brought in guys that have been a little older, can't really help you like they used to be able to, and that, my friends, is a harsh reality. It's a harsh reality, friends. And so that's what I'm saying to you. The NBA is going to have to react to this, man. They're going to have to react to it. You can't just keep these guys around. I'm sorry. They are great pros. Give them jobs. They can be scouts. They can be coaches, assistant coaches, strength and conditioning coaches. They can be all types of stuff, man. They can work in the booth with different organizations. You got Amazon. You got ESPN. You got Peacock, NBC, local channels, up and down. There are places for these guys that y'all love so much to stick around and be around the game they love, but they can't be eating up valuable roster spots no more, man. It is that. It is what it is, man. So Detroit's going through hell. The Rockets going through hell. Some other teams too that's having this issue right now. They're not doing well. The teams is washed. Denver's going through this as well, low-key. Yeah, Denver too. But I give Denver a bit of a pass, and the reason why I give Denver a pass is because their power forward position has been dwindled by Gordon and Watson injuries. So if you had both of those pieces in place, it's a different Denver team, to be honest with you. And you remove both of those guys, yeah, you're exposed to some of that bench that's not that great, man. You're exposed to some of that bench. But like some of these dudes, they weren't washed last week, but they washed this week. If I'm being honest with you, that's what's going on with some of Denver's squad. Like Cam Johnson, for example. I ain't saying he's washed. He's not that old, but he ain't looking like he's spry. He don't look like he's ready to contribute like that to me. Tim Hardaway shot well throughout the regular season, but is he doing that right now? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Valanciunas, is he helping you right now? He wanted to go. He was ready to leave the NBA. Y'all insisted that he play. Made him force him to play for Denver. It's like And y'all want to leave all these guys in the G League, say, oh, they're not professional, oh, they're not that good, they're in the G, so they really can't help you. Scoring 40 a night, 50 a night, whatever. 20 boards here, 8 assists, 7 steals. Now, he's in the G, though. It's against lesser talent. We prefer to give this opportunity to a guy that's been around for 17 years, who ain't been on a regular rotation in about 3 years, but he's a guy that the coach likes, so we're keeping him around. That type of stuff is what's wrong here, man. Tell me what's wrong here. And so if you're looking at me and you're saying, yo, B, you're being harsh, like I said, there are some circumstances, situations where that's not the case. I think Brook Lopez is probably the best example. Where I genuinely would say, yo, he's too old to be here. He should be watched, but yet he's able to contribute because of that three-point ability. He still got that. He can still shoot that. And it's still necessary with him being as huge as he is, and then stretch fives being as what's the word? Scarce as they are at this point. And so it's like, yeah, there are some examples of where this can still work. But you got to flush these guys out sooner than you used to be able to, or be forced to, rather. You just have to at this point. Or else they're going to get run into by these evolutionary, if that's a word, guys, man, who are just a step quicker, jump higher. Some of them have better feel, some of them shoot better. It just is what it is. It's called evolution, man. And it's only going to get tougher from here from some of y'all. It's only going to get tougher from here. So that's what I want to say, man. Now, check out the teams that are down. If they're not lacking in upper talent, so to speak, if they're not top heavy with superstars, chances are there are teams that have those superstars but have players on the team that probably need to be let go of for younger, faster, stronger guys. And look, GMing is a big thing, man. General managers who don't have a vision, general managers who don't evaluate talent well, manage their books well, you know, this is a thing, man. It really affects a lot. There is a hope, though. There's a glimmer of hope. And the glimmer of hope that I see is the NIL. The NIL is hurting the draft because the NIL college is paying these guys now and got this, you know, transfer portal process that allows for college basketball to be more desirable than it's ever been before. For these guys to go back to school and make more money than they would make if they stay in the draft. And so what you end up finding out is there may be a glimmer of hope to keep some of y'all careers going because the drafts aren't as deep as they otherwise would be if these guys weren't getting paid like they are and don't have the incentives like they do to stay in school. So that's a real thing. Maybe that'll help some of y'all. Because some of my favorite players in this draft decided to stay in school. And they wouldn't have 2 years ago. They definitely wouldn't have 2 years ago. So that's the glimmer of hope. That's all I got. Other than that, man, some of y'all got to bounce. Some of y'all got to bounce, man. Unless they're going to start expanding these teams to 18 roster spots or something like that. Which I honestly don't know if that's a bad idea, to be honest, with the prevalence of injuries, consistency of injuries, and just how sometimes teams can run into more problems than they're expecting. 16 players may not be enough. You know, two ways and, you know, 1 10-day, that may not be enough to kind of supplement some of the issues that some of these teams are running into with injuries. So it may not be a horrible idea to explore adding another roster spot or 2 roster spots to each team. I don't think it'd be the worst idea in the world. I really don't. It might make for more players sitting than they care to have, but better sitting than not being in the league at all. So that's just something I've been thinking about. But yeah, man, I look at what I'm seeing in the playoffs, and I'm seeing a consistent theme here, man. I look at the rosters and I'm saying, man, this team is shallow. They have players on the team, but how many of them can actually help their team? How many of them do you actually want to call on in a given moment? You know, that same problem is found with teams with young guys too. And you know, that's not just an old guy thing, because you look at my Laker roster team and we have like 3 or 4 players on legitimate roster spots that we don't want to check in because we don't trust them for whatever reason. That is a problem for us. That kind of caps off our potential as a team. So we don't have the Wash guy no more necessarily. We moved on from him, sent him to Atlanta, brought us somebody who can help us, and it made all the difference. But at the same time, it's like you got to know to get rid of those guys sooner. Can't even let them have those roster spots to hurt your team. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. So that's really what it comes down to. We got to get to a point where we're identifying what players can no longer help us soon enough and replacing them with people who can before it comes to a point where it's hurting your team that they're there. Before it gets to a point where you realize, damn, I'm rostering a washed guy. I'm rostering somebody who legitimately is going to hurt me if I put him in the game next to a fast youngster. So I'll be the bad guy. I've been the bad guy on this channel when it comes to this conversation. I don't mind. I don't mind. I will be the bad guy and tell y'all that some of these dudes, it's a wrap. They can't help like they used to be able to help. They shouldn't have the prominent roles they used to have. Some of them may not be. It may not be necessary to move them all the way out the league, but it's time to move them further back down the pecking order and start giving other people more opportunities who could probably help you more if they develop a little bit, and only going to develop a little bit if you give them those opportunities. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. No.